presentation of the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA.
I'm so excited to be here today. And I just want to congratulate all of these athletes and, of course, their coaches for playing this all in here today. And wish you the very best of luck. So can we give everybody a big round of applause?
Get the gold medals ready again.
Who won the 2006 and 2008 18-team American Cup women's all-around title? A. Gabrielle Douglas. B. Svetlana Borinskaya. C. Nastia Cup. Or D. Alan Racing. Take it up. One wrong answer, and this beautiful shirt will not be yours. Tank top. Pretty quick for myself. What do you think? Let me check my notes. C. You are correct. I knew you had it. Everyone Virginia is smart. All right, watch out for security as you leave with North Star Gymnastics. They make it very unruly, okay? Give it up for our winner in the first rotation. And North Star Gymnastics.
saw the top gymnasts, many of them, performing this exact same vault right there.
Take one more look at this. You guys be the judges.
I mean, this is, as Tim just said, Lori Hernandez, for example, she did this vault at the Olympic Games in Rio, and you see a little bit of a leg separation there, but she stayed in bounds, stayed within those 2 white lines, so she didn't incur a deduction there.
Gets her arms back really quickly so she can jettison her body up into the air, spots the ground right there. But another difference from elite level or Olympic level gymnastics, they actually will do 2 different vaults, and they won't average them. They'll take the best score from either one of the vaults, and that will be the score they carry forward for the all-around.
And Tim has already used the word jettison, so he's already he's
That's it.
He can't use it again. Here we go. Kai Rivers getting ready for her second vault.
And so what she's really going to do is key in on what Nastia said. Try to keep those legs together at the very end, and of course, clean up the landing just a little bit.
But she has to feel pretty confident going into the second vault. Her first vault was very good, and
Yes.
so if she had to take that first score, I think she would be pretty happy with that.
She is committed to LSU. She's going to be a Tiger when she moves on to college, and we'll be talking a lot about where these athletes are going to be going as we look at Kai Rivers, 9.75, so great start for her right out of the gate.
So once again, let's key in towards the end. Does she keep those legs together, and can she improve the landing?
Well, I thought it was definitely much better in the air. She got more height, the legs were better, but just had a little bit too much power and had to take a huge hop back.
So good start for Kai Rivers. There's John Getter, head coach at Twist Stars.
Like Nastia said, nice power, but you see that first hop back and then that step.
Looked like she's ready for the 2.5, guys. I mean, that was a big vault.
I was just thinking she had huge power right there. You see she opens up.
So nice start for Kai. Now, vault is generally going to be a little bit higher scoring event, so we'll see how these gymnasts rank out after they start here. She should be in good shape, but again, some of the lower scoring events, namely bars and beam, yet to come. So she really wants to make sure to get a strong start on the high scoring event, which she did. Now we're going to see right away here the junior champion from last year, Andrea Lee from Aurora, Illinois, just 15 years old, but man, what a season she has had.
So great Yurchenko full, a little bit less difficult than we just saw. Only one twist in the air, but beautiful body position. And that is what we are going to see from Andrea the entire night. Her lines are just gorgeous to watch. Now you see her sister giving her a few words of advice going into Anna Lee, into her second vault.
What a bar worker, huh? She was phenomenal.
She really was.
Absolutely, and not just her, but her parents, Olympic champions and silver medalists in the Olympic Games. Such a gymnastics family. They live their life through the sport.
We'll see if some of those bar genetics have rubbed off on Andrea Lee in her second event. There's Anna Lee, sister and coach. She said this is a unique experience for her to be on the floor with her sister. Pretty special.
There we go. So just really trying to key in on that landing. And that actually not as good of a vault. She really kind of flubbed her hands on the table. Didn't get them back quick enough and created what we call a shoulder angle. So she couldn't get the block off.
And sometimes when that happens, it's almost like she was really trying to go for that stick and nail that landing, and as Tim said, just didn't quite get that repulsion and height off of the horse. You see right here when she stretches back, just didn't really go up in the air at all.
Yeah, she barely contacts that table.
How much is this going to hurt her not getting a strong start on an event that's typically high scoring?
Well, her first vault, I think, will get a pretty good score relative. But this one right here, if she had to count it, I think that they would really be deducting for not a lot of power. She does maintain good body position in the air and just has that step off to the side, but she'll be okay.
So Andrea Lee, 9.55. She will be on her second event will be bars, and she will finish on the floor exercise. So big 2 rotations coming up for her. We're going to stay here on vault. This is Anne-Marie Lockhart is our next vaulter.
She's from Empire Gymnastics in Fort Worth, Texas. Another full twisting, laid out Yurchenko.
Still looking for that first stuck landing. I know Tim's going to bring up Gymnastics 101 any moment here, but
But that really is what separates all of these gymnasts, because, you know, their starting value, the Yurchenko full, they all do very similar vaults. See right there on the horse, didn't quite get fully extended, so she couldn't get as much height as, you know, she's probably used to. But still, recovers it, you know, very well. She has a nice landing.
Absolutely.
We're being pretty nitpicky here.
well, it's got to be such a nice luxury. Just go and get that first vault. If it's not perfect, then the next one just wind up and you know, swing for the fences, so to speak.
She was 7th last year in the nation at the Junior Olympic National Championships. So she's really going to want to improve on that, though. Wants to fly a little higher, and obviously the landing, as John said.
Well, and that was better. That was a little bit better from the vault, a little more repulsion, but, you know, not quite enough to get that high score. We're taking a look one more time at this vault. So you see she extends back all the way. She does rise her shoulders very well and has great extension in the air.
Has a bit of an unorthodox run. Just doesn't look like a typical gymnast, but you saw she bent her elbows and kind of shrugged in her shoulders as she's making contact with the table, and that's something that they're going to want to eliminate.
And the score for Anne-Marie Lockhart, 9.475. So a decent start. We are going to stay right here on vault. We're rocking out these vaults here in the first rotation. This is Abigail Brenner, 17 years old, out of Louisville, Texas, in Metroplex Gymnastics.
Actually competed at the Nastia Cup last year.
Oh, and that's the first one we've seen. I believe that someone seated to my left competed that in the Olympic Games in 2008. Nastia Lukin, a 1.5 twist. A little bit more difficult, not quite as hard as we saw from our first vaulter.
But what makes this vault harder than just the full twisting Yurchenko is you see she does a flip and a 1.5 twist, and it's called a blind landing, so she can't really see the ground or spot the ground, which makes it pretty difficult. So you really have to rely on your technique here. You know, you have to make sure right here from the top, good repulsion, little bitty step on that landing. So this time she's really going to go for that stick.
Abigail's going to be a Michigan Wolverine when she graduates high school. Found it interesting looking at her bio. She has been in the last 3 junior Olympic championships. She's been 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So she's just toying with that first place spot as we see a 9.425 for her first vault.
So maybe try to keep her body a little bit more extended in the air here. Woof. Little bit of a locked leg landing, which that triple L you want to avoid like the plague in gymnastics.
Well, we are out of the blocks, but we are just getting started here at the Prudential Center in the 2017 Nastia Lukin Cup. Nastia Lukin Cup is brought to you by AT&T and by Meta Appetite Control, a fiber supplement from the makers of Metamucil. Still midway through the first half of the first rotation here at the Nastia Lukin Cup. We're going to see our first look at the floor exercise. This is 17-year-old Abby High School. This is her 3rd appearance in the Nastia Lukin Cup. She's been here once as a junior and once as a senior. Still looking for her first all-around title.
She was first all-around last year in her division at the Junior National Championships. And you're going to see that she's going to do a tumbling run that's going to land on an extra skill cushion. That is allowed, and she'll receive no deduction for that.
Well, that was a really great routine, a solid start. A few little hops on those landings, but overall, I think she's pretty happy with that routine.
Pretty darn clean.
So a good start for Abby High School. She should be a contender as well tonight. We see her coach, Ludmilla, from Southeastern Gymnastics, congratulating her as she comes off the podium. The uneven bars. Rachel Flam, this is another one that we all talked about during training yesterday, as she can be a contender as well. She did win this competition as a junior. She's just 17 years old, out of Houston, Texas.
39.275 qualifying, which was the highest number set coming in to this Nastia Lukin Championship. Oh, little bit of leg separation you saw right there. Judges are looking for good line, perfect handstand positions.
Super difficult dismount, a double layout with the full twist. Again, these are the kind of skills that we just saw at the Olympic Games a few months ago.
Yeah, a lot of gymnasts actually dismounted the uneven bars, even in the event finals, without a dismount this difficult. But the thing that they did is the little things were perfect.
And here's that transition that she does up to the high bar. Just, you know, we don't normally see that in elite gymnastics, but...
Talking to her coach, Dan Baker, yesterday, gave me the impression that if she can just get through bars and have a decent score, she is going to be set up great on the last three events to make a run at the title. As we look at Abby High School, a 9.65, great start for her on the floor exercise, and we are going to stay right here on that event. We're going to see one of the gymnasts that really jumped out at me yesterday. She is in the junior competition, and she is as cute as they come, but don't let that fool you. She is tough too. Lillian Lepet, and she comes from CGA, and we know that gym well, don't we, Dutch?
Absolutely. Mary Lee Tracy, the longtime coach and mentor of that program, produced so many great champions. Two of the magnificent seven in 1996. Wow.
Huge open tumbling pass. Well, her goal is actually to make the national team, and at this point, you know, that difficulty that she had in that floor routine was spectacular, among the cute points.
Oh my goodness, what a firecracker. And she's so tiny, it's so hard to generate power when you weigh so little. That was amazing.
And there's her coach, Mary Lee Tracy, coach of Olympic champions Amanda Borden and J.C. Phelps. So she is in good hands, and we'll have to take note of her and keep an eye out for the years to come to see how she does. But as we see Rachel Flam, one of the favorites in the senior competition, 9.5 on the uneven bars, and that will bode well for her because she has her best events yet to come. The world's best athletes descend upon Pyeongchang to compete on the biggest stage. The Winter Olympics coming next February to the networks of NBC Universal. Rachel Lucas is going to be starting her competition, the defending champ, and she's going to start her competition on the event that she clinched it on last year, the vault, Nastia.
Well, I remember watching this last year, and it all, as you said, it all came down to this exact event. But, you know, I got to spend a little bit of time with the girls earlier this morning at a brunch, and she was just like as calm as could be, wasn't nervous at all. You know, they were all just so excited to be here, but especially Rachel, I think, you know, for everybody to be able to qualify again year after year, it's hard because these invitational competitions, which are their qualifying events, they are so competitive and there is no room for error.
Well, she is super powerful, as you just saw. This is still warm-ups right now. Her coach, Tony Gehrman, longtime gymnastics coach, North Stars Gymnastics Academy.
Seems like he's here every year.
Yeah.
He's obviously
well,
doing a good
she's
job.
been here 4 years in a row.
There you go. And he's got more gymnasts that have qualified than just Rachel Lucas. So doing an outstanding job is Tony Gaiman as we look at Cassie Stevens, just 16 years old, out of Phoenix, Arizona, and her Arizona Sun Rays. Talk about a gym club that we see that name quite a lot here at the Nastia Cup as well. Her coach, Dan Wittenstein, doing an outstanding job there as well.
She has committed at this point to Auburn for her collegiate gymnastics. And this is actually her third appearance at the Nastia Cup. She looks a little confused.
Well, it looks like the coaches aren't even done setting up the bars, but she's ready to go.
She wants to go.
The NASCAR pit crews, I like to call them. They're still working on the setting, which always seems like a science project to me on getting that right.
And I think that was always the most nerve-wracking moment, is just waiting for that judge to put up the green flag and give you the go-ahead.
Release skill right here. Nicely done.
She'll go down to the low bar, a little bit short of that handstand. You want to see gymnasts land right on top of the bar with their hips open.
A little short on that cast to handstand. Nice double layout, good landing. You know, we do sound like we nitpick, but we are doing.
I mean, you do.
we are doing the exact same thing that the judges are doing and that the coaches are doing.
Absolutely.
They're
And the gymnasts, for that matter. Trust me, no one was a worse critic than myself, right?
But overall, I mean, that was a great routine, huge release move, and then here was that one. It's called a pack salto. Excuse me, an overshoot. So she goes, does a half turn, and you see she's just a little bit short on that handstand. Doesn't quite extend her hips all the way.
But she does keep her hips nice and extended on this. When you keep straight in the air, it's the most difficult position to rotate in. She does it twice in a laid out position. It's called a double layout, and just the smallest little slide on the landing. Could definitely be cleaner, though. The routine was good, but it could be cleaner.
Well, we'll just hope the judges aren't quite as critical as Tim and Nastia as we head over to the balance beam and seeing one of our other gymnasts, our junior gymnasts, and talk about another cute athlete. This is Elizabeth Gantner, and we saw her in practice yesterday, and she has had quite a road to this competition. Her coach, Dave Maris, who's helping her get ready for this event, along with her other coach who is here, Olympic champion J.C. Phelps, said she is competing in her 7th competition in a row. Wasn't really planning on this as being part of her schedule, but here she is. She qualified and didn't want to miss that opportunity.
Oh, it was heartbreaking yesterday watching her in training. She was having some problems. She's getting so teary-eyed. All the older girls coming over and encouraging her.
And that's what I love about this competition, is I try to tell them, you know, you've qualified. All you have to do here is enjoy it and support each other, because, oh, what a beautiful series.
Oh, boy.
That wobble.
Oh, that was gorgeous till then, though. Great knees, toes.
Well, just to give you an idea why she might be a little mentally worn down, this young lady has competed level 8, level 9, level 10, and has qualified elite all in the same season. So she has really been pushed to her limits, but quite an accomplishment for her to be here amongst pretty much all the girls who are older than her.
And, you know, it's a little ironic because the two areas that she's had these bobbles on, balance checks, they really didn't look off. They just looked like, you know, she got a little bit nervous, doubted herself a bit, but talk about a packed routine, difficulty-wise. And here we go. This is critical. Get the beam. Wow, she's got a future, I'll tell you.
That was great. I mean, she's got the skills for sure. And I guess based on what you guys are saying, maybe just refining a few of those wobbles. But, man, difficulty seems to be there, Nastia.
Oh, the difficulty absolutely is there. And, again, I think this is going to come. And there you see her coach, J.C. Phelps, Olympic gold medalist in the 1996 Olympic Games. but it's the experience. You know, I think the more she competes, the more hopefully comfortable she'll get. Of course, those nerves never completely go away, no matter how old you are, but I think the more competition she has under her belt, the more confident she might be.
We saw J.C. Phelps there. Her and Dave are expecting their first child, May 25th.
Little girl.
Yep, Skylyn Maris. It's going to be a little girl. Pretty exciting. I'm going to jump over to the uneven bars again for another junior gymnast. This is Sophia Croft. Getting chalked up.
And she actually trains at the famous club of Liang Chow in Iowa. Of course, Sean Johnson's personal coach, and then Gabby Douglas.
Yep, he coached her on to becoming the Olympic all-around champion at the 2012 Olympic Games.
Liang Chow not here at this competition.
But it has to be quite inspiring and motivating for these athletes that, you know, train at a gym like Chow's. They could have been able to watch their idols go on to becoming Olympic champions. I remember growing up at Woga in Texas, and Carly Patterson won the Olympics in 2004, and I remember just being captivated every single day watching her and thinking, you know, if she did it, then maybe one day I could do it too.
And you did. Beautiful castaway handstand, great lines.
Beautiful packed salto there. One of my favorite skills on the uneven bars. A little bit short on that handstand. It's probably going to connect it to that skill, to the high bar. Chest a little bit low on that landing, and of course the step. So she'll have some deduction on that, but Tim, as you said, just beautiful lines and really hit all of those handstands.
Okay, handing off, Sean.
Just 13 years old and already doing some great gymnastics.
And here's that dismount. So she does a double back with a full twist. So she tries to get some extra power on these giants, and then one flip, and on her second flip does the full and just tries to spot the landing. Just again, chest was a little bit low, but what a great routine.
Regardless of the score, all smiles for Sophia. Got to be having a good time. When you're on the podium and under the big lights, you got to have a good time and you got to enjoy the moment. It looks like she is. There's Rachel Lucas getting ready to go on her vault. She'll be the last gymnast on that event in this rotation. Cheering on her competitors. Nastia, you mentioned it, how despite the fact she's about to go compete, trying to defend this title that has never been defended, still has that time to cheer on the other competitors. Pretty cool. Real quick on the scores, Lily Lepet, 9.675 for her floor routine, outstanding. And then on the uneven bars, Cassie Stevens, a little trouble. You guys had mentioned some breaks, only a 9.175, so she's going to have some work to do for her. And Elizabeth Gantner, the youngster, on beam. A lot of difficulty, but a few errors, and she ends up with a 9.225 on that event. Nonetheless, I think she should be pretty pleased with that.
Absolutely, for the young juniors in this competition, it's really always about the future, and she certainly has one if she wants it.
Game face on for Rachel Lucas, and again, this is the event that she clinched the all-around. She stuck her vault last year, had to nail it to win, and this girl knows a little bit about winning. She is a three-time Junior Olympic all-around champion. I haven't done the research, but I got to think not too many girls have done that.
Big vault right here. Yurchenko with two twists. Great block. Oh, baby. She is a gamer.
That was almost identical to what we saw exactly a year ago in the same exact building.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, she's thinking, hey, coach, I don't need to go again. I'll take that one. But, wow. Look at just great block off the table. And because of that, look at here. She just, bam, hits that table. Watch the body rise. And because of that, is able to zero in and just plant those feet. Tremendous.
I mean, this is the exact vault that we are talking about that every athlete wants to do. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, that was a stick. Maybe just a slight shift of the feet, but come on, give it to her.
We're about 15 feet away, and I think she just smirked at you, Nastia.
A 9.825 for vault number 1. It's going to be a tough act to follow. We'll see if she can beat that right here.
Oh, boy.
Well, I was just about to say, in the air, it almost even looked even more explosive and higher and better, but then just didn't quite get that landing as well as she did.
She takes the big hop back, but a 9.825, that is not going to hurt her cause at all.
Nice start. We saw Kai Rivers getting 9.75 earlier in the first rotation, so she got a good start, but she was one-upped by Rachel Lucas, the defending champ, with that 9.825. The floor exercise, and this is Michaela McGee. She's out of League City, Texas, and Pearland Elite. Had a chance to hang out with her coaches a little bit last weekend. They talked about how excited this young lady was to be here and compete on this big stage. They actually told me she had come very close to qualifying for this event a number of times, and finally when she did it, her coaches said they've never seen her so excited.
Oh, boy. And you saw that coming. She did a combination tumbling run and just was way too rotated on the first skill. And when that happens, you are just basically you're aiming your body straight to the floor and very hard to recover.
Well, the opening and the closing pass, they were both great, but that, unfortunately, that fall in the middle it's hard to recover that routine from there.
More great gymnastics to come, but more importantly, the man I idolize as a gymnast, the man who coached Nastia to gold, and he's now the new leader of the women's program, Valeri Lukin. Quite special. He's going to join us in the booth next. Welcome back to the Prudential Center. We have finished one rotation. John Rothsberger, Nastia Lukin, and Tim Daggett. And I have to say, as successful as Nastia and Tim have been, I believe that the medal count in the booth just doubled because we have one of my idols, Valeri Lukin. And Valeri, they're going to ask you a lot about the women's program, but I have to harken back to the days bygone when I watched you compete. I was on the same floor as you. I watched you do incredible gymnastics. I don't know how many times your name is in the Coda Points, but I wondered, do you miss the men's side a little bit? Because we miss you, man. I mean,
well, yeah, it's been a little while ago. Absolutely. Every time I have a chance, I watch it.
Yeah. Obviously, you have big shoes to fill now with your new role, but, you know, I really feel like the current team has a lot of young, promising talent. But what do you think the hardest challenge for you and the new team will be going into this new cycle?
Well, Nastia, I think you just answered the question. This is going to be our biggest challenge. You know, the team is pretty much brand new, and that's what really exciting, actually. But experience, as you know, Reagan was I have to say, the youngest gymnast last quadrennium, and she's everything for us at this moment. She's the most experienced athlete on the floor. So that's what
changes quickly.
Yeah, so getting deadly serious here, though. 2012, USA, team gold medal. 2016, team gold medal. How do you follow that up? What's your plan?
Keep talking to him. We sure hope so.
Yeah.
We work very hard, and we do everything we can, and I think everything's going to fall just in place.
He wants you to guarantee the goal. You're not going to go out there. You're not going to go out there. Tell us a little bit about what your life is like, though, because talking to Nastia a little bit before the meet, You're down in Texas at the ranch quite a bit now. Is that where you spend most of your time? What's your week-to-week life like?
Well, it's pretty much what it is. You know, I spend a lot of times. I'm not working not only with the national team these days. It's a TOPS program and a developmental program, so pretty much everything. So it takes a lot.
So obviously, as you said, you spent time with the developmental team, and so you've kind of watched these young athletes grow up, and now they're part of the national team. So talk a little bit about that and how that kind of helped, maybe not necessarily you, but even them, into this new adjustment. You know, they have a new head coach, but you really did kind of grow up with them as they were on the developmental team.
Yes, last 4 years I work with the developmental team that actually, I'm glad Martha didn't retire 4 years ago. That gave me a chance actually to learn and be with these guys, you know, that much longer. I pretty much develop my next generation that I'm working with right now.
Well, you know, Valeria, you have been a tremendous gymnast, a phenomenally successful coach. Is there one thing that you'd like to put your stamp on USA Gymnastics? What do you bring that is really going to help set the USA apart from the rest of the world?
Well, I think USA already did set themselves apart. It would be very hard for me to tell you what it is. You know, I guess they could have point changes here and there, but I mean, just consistency is our key. It always been, and that's the goal.
And just keep it going, right?
Keep it going.
All righty. Awesome.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. We wish you the best of luck, and obviously we're going to be following you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Valeria. We're jumping right back into it as we see Nevaeh D'Souza on vault.
Beautiful Yurchenko full. She had some really great height in the air, just that step back on the landing, but...
Yeah, she really got a bounce off that table, I'll tell you. And that is exactly what they are looking to do. You can almost always be a little bit better at the landing, though. And so watch the arms go back, and because she gets good contact with the table, she's able to fly in the air. You see, though, look at her hips. They're a little bit closed in the air. That means that she's piked at her hips, and that is a deduction. The judges will be scribbling pen to paper. She wants to keep her body completely stretched.
And that's what she's going to try to do in the second vault. But you see, this angle, you can see it a little bit better. But just as Tim said, a little bit of a pike in that air. And here she goes for her second vault.
You know, a good vault. I don't know really if that one's going to bring in a bigger number at all. Maybe was a little bit cleaner in the air, but definitely the landing not as good.
Nevaeh got a 9.45 for her first vault.
You know, I actually think she got even higher off of the horse here. A little bit of a leg separation right from the table. And because of that extra power, just didn't quite control the landing as well as she probably could have done and was hoping to do to get a higher score.
Well, she did what she needed to open those hips up, and they are a little bit more open, but she could have really laid that out. When you have an over rotation, you take the hop backwards.
Nevaeh 10th place after the first rotation, so a little bit of work to do. Obviously, vault's been a higher scoring event, so hopefully she can make a move. Abbey High School, 3rd place after the first rotation. Saw that outstanding floor routine from her.
Oh boy, that was gorgeous. Just absolutely stunning in the air. Picture perfect form. That straight body that we're looking for. The slide back, but this should get a very good number. I don't know where the judges.
Yeah, and I mean, in my eyes, looking at this vault, there really is no major deduction.
Look at the toes.
Just
look at
beautiful
that.
from start until right here on the landing.
Oh gosh, that was gorgeous.
Just
I'll tell
that
you
hop
what.
back.
That was executed about as well as you can do this vault. Great contact with the table, perfectly pasted together legs and picture perfect toes.
She's channeling her inner Nastia Lukin on that vault. Beautiful form in the air.
And you see the score, 9.55. Get the landing. Oh,
she tried. You could tell she really tried to go for that stick, but just the same as that first vault, it was just absolutely stunning in the air from start to finish. Just that hop back.
I don't know where they got the deductions.
I was just thinking it was a little much.
I mean, it was so beautifully done.
So Abbey High School continues to roll. Floor and vault done for her. She will go to the toughest two events, arguably bars and beam next. As we see Abigail Brenner, 10th place after the first rotation. We saw her on vault get a 9.425 on her first event.
Every gymnast likes the bars a little bit differently. There are adjustments that can make them what we call tighter or looser. It all depends on what you're accustomed to, and so a lot of preparation before the routine begins. Release right here. Nicely done.
Beautiful cast handstand, right in the handstand. Just the dismount left right here. Gorgeous double layout. Tiny hop.
That very clean exercise, you know, overall.
Not as difficult as, you know, we'll probably see from some of the other competitors, but she sets herself apart by having such beautiful lines, not much deduction on the execution.
So she's putting herself in a good spot. A lot of fun this rotation, sitting with that guy right there. One of the best ever gymnasts, and now one of the best ever coaches. More from Newark when we come back. We saw her right into the break on the uneven bars, and she gets a 9.575, a great score for that event. Very tough to get over that 9.5 mark, so that'll bode well for Abigail Brenner, one of the gymnasts that we definitely want to keep an eye on heading into the second half of this competition, somebody who can definitely contend. This young lady has contended in the past junior all-around champ, Rachel Flam. She started on the uneven bars, did a nice job there, put up a 9.5 of her own. And now it's almost like, Nastia, you get through beam, it's like as a gymnast, you think to yourself, oh man, just get through beam. I got floor and vault left, and I can kind of coast.
You know, I think that's the best rotation that you can possibly have, is starting on the uneven bars, then going to beam, and having those two events left, because, yes, of course, you can have mistakes, but I don't know, just there's something about the beam, probably that it's only 4 inches wide, and there's very little room for error on this event.
Tim, you mentioned her qualifying score, and again, people didn't catch it, the top score in the entire country. So not just out of the qualifying scores here, but out of all the meets across the country, this young lady has put up the biggest number.
First test comes right here. First series. Oh boy. And that's too bad.
As tight as this competition is, can you possibly hope to win it with a fault?
I don't think so.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, these are the best of the best in the entire country, and they are all so close in their all-around scores that, unfortunately, with a fall, it's going to be pretty tough to finish on the podium.
And again, she was in 7th place coming into this event, but again, it was bars.
Right.
And it actually put her in a great spot, but no longer, unfortunately.
Half a point off, obviously. And she looks like she's gotten her calmness back. She was a little rattled after that fall, but ready for dismount. Coach there just in case. Nice double pike. Step on the landing.
And that's a very difficult dismount. You know, dismounts that we are normally seeing on the elite level, the World Championships, the Olympic Games, and she did a great job. But unfortunately, that fall will just, you can tell she's disappointed. And here's her series, so 2 skills in a row, and right away when she took off, she was completely off. You see her shoulders, her hips, everything was just to the right.
Look at, you can see it right from the very beginning. Actually, almost a little at the end of the back handspring.
That's unfortunate. You know, she's had some nice battles at this competition with Rachel Lucas, who is one of our contenders again here. She, in 2014, won as a junior. Rachel was 3rd. Last year, Rachel won as a senior, Rachel Lucas, and Rachel Flam was 3rd as a senior. So they've kind of gone back and forth. We thought they might come down to the wire, but with that 8.8, that might just do it for Rachel Flam, unfortunately. Now, this is the young lady that her coach, when I talked to him, said last year she won the Smile Award at this competition. He just cannot say enough about how wonderful this young lady is to work with. Always smiles, loves gymnastics, can't get enough. You tell her to hit 4, and she wants to hit 5, and she just is a joy to be in the gym with. Natalie Wojcik.
Beautiful tumbling pass front double twist to a front pike.
Very difficult.
And that form was just very good in the air, too.
A really nice job. And it should be. She's a national champion on this event. But as we said, that second pass, wow, super difficult. A double full forwards into a beautiful front somersault.
Not just that difficulty, but that execution. It was just her toes were pointed, knees straight. Just great.
Now back over to the balance beam. Cassie Stevens getting ready to go. We saw her get a 9.175, so a slow start for her on the uneven bars. We'll see if she can improve upon that here on the balance beam.
Here we go. Really nice.
That's probably one of my favorite series combinations on the beam. Those 3 skills in a row, very difficult, but just gorgeous to watch.
It's a little wild, though, you know? Didn't it look a little wild, but she handled that extremely well.
And that skill right there is kind of her signature skill. We don't really see it done very often, and it's beautiful to watch, but very different.
If she would have to compete that at a World Cup level to have it routine. Just a little bit of the execution needs to, you know, she needs to hone in on that a little bit, but a lot of good stuff there.
So Cassie Stevens stays on the beam. Natalie Wojcik, a 9.7. She finished 4th place last year at the Nastia Cup. She came into this rotation 5th after a 9.55 in her first rotation. We have got a lot more gymnastics. It's going to be great down the stretch here in Newark, New Jersey.
Named after her. Nice double back tuck. Small step. It was a really good.
Cassie Stevens on the balance beam, made 9.425 in her second rotation. That'll certainly help. Help the birthday celebration, too. She turned 16 yesterday, so what better place to spend your birthday than here on one of the biggest stages in gymnastics, the Nastia Cup. Welcome back, everyone. We are still just halfway through the second rotation. We're looking at Riley Mundell, 9th after the first rotation. This is our first chance to see her. She'll be getting up on the uneven bars here in a moment.
Which she says is her favorite event, so it should be good.
She is going to be attending the University of Denver when she graduates high school. Denver, you know, not one of the names maybe you think of first when you think of collegiate gymnastics, but they have an outstanding program, currently number 7 in the country.
A little short on that handstand. She seems just a little timid on all of those handstands. kind of possibly played a little safe, but
That was nice, though.
great release move right there.
Longer routine than we've seen from a number of the other gymnasts. A little bit of leg separation. Nice dismount, pretty good landing.
Riley comes out of Colorado Gymnastics Institute, Parker, Colorado.
And overall, it was a great routine, but just a few missed handstands. So here's that transition from the low bar to the high bar. And then you see right there a little bit of her leg separation and just didn't quite get, so close, but didn't quite get over on a handstand.
But what was really nice, her dismount, it's a full twisting double back somersault, so 2 flips and 1 twist. Tight on the hands here. She wants to generate a lot of speed and power. Got to really grip that bar, obviously. Time the release move. She's spotting the ground right there. And that's a stick right there.
Riley Mundell's got to be happy with that. She's going to be in a nice spot here. Hit vault, hit bars. See if she can make a move up the standings as she came into this event ninth place in the all-around. We're going to stick here on the uneven bars because we have next up the leader after the first rotation. There really was no doubt, I guess, of who was going to be coming out of that rotation on the top. Rachel Lucas is the next gymnast up. She put up a 9.825. But this event, this is the challenge for her. If she can get through this, she'll be in good shape.
Nice release skill. Really, the powerful floor and vaulters are typically not known for an even bars work. A little bit close to that bar on that transition, which is called a pack salto.
But she recovered well. She was strong enough to kind of keep her shoulders from coming completely over the bar. And just the dismount right here, double out.
Nicely done, but she gave up a little bit. There's no question about that.
But as John said, you know, for her, this event is to really just make it all the way through. Exactly, not have a major mistake.
And let me give you a little background, though. Coming into this competition, Tony Gaiman said she's been dealing with some back spasms, was out for a couple weeks, and only during this last week has she really been able to train and get back into competition form. So this is impressive so far, considering that.
Here's that release. It's called a Tkachev, and actually what she needs to do is what she does on floor and vault. She needs to fly a little higher on that release. She knows that. Tony knows that.
And we see here's that dismount that she got so much power on right here. She speeds up on those giants. Little bit leg separation.
Through it. Now she has got an interesting pedigree. She comes from an outstanding gymnastics family.
Well, Liu Ejo, one of my heroes. I saw him tumble for the first time with everybody else in the gymnastics world blown away. Nobody jumped higher than this guy right here. What a tremendous athlete and a phenomenal young man as well.
And then, of course, her mother, she was also part of that 1984 Olympic team, a bronze medalist. And then she went on to coach her daughter, Annalie, who we see here. She was the alternate for the 2012 Olympic team, was a UCLA Bruin, and then came back to the elite competition. And now here she is actually coaching her younger sister.
And Anna, as we said, is phenomenal on uneven bars. Just such an amazing array of different skills. And her younger sister, Andrea, also has some of that prowess, as we'll see here. Very difficult routine planned.
Beautiful handstand, just her lines already right from the start. Gorgeous. Front Stalder to a Jaeger.
Transition down to the low, beautiful. And now this is really tricky right here. Great.
Just so good. You know, not quite the difficulty that her sister Anna had, but that was exactly what she needed. But I was saying, not quite the difficulty that Anna Lee did, but it reminded me of her just watching her, those lines, the pack salto.
This is good. This is going to get, I would say, by far the biggest score yet on the uneven bars.
And we got a smile out of her, guys. I mean, let's be honest. She's pretty
intense,
reserved and intense, and you don't see that too often. This was outstanding.
So she does this in combination. It's a full pirouette, and then the double back salto. Gymnastics 101, baby. Fly high.
There we go.
Stick the landing.
We were waiting for that, Tim.
So, man, an outstanding battle we have on the bar rotation. Andrea Lee putting up an outstanding one there. We'll see what the judges do in a moment. We're going to get a second look at Carly Bauman. She is one of the top juniors competing in today's competition.
Actually, the national all-around champion in the junior Olympic level.
And she started with a bang. She actually put up a 9.7 in her first event, the uneven bar. So this kid can play.
Gorgeous. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in gymnastics. Do the hard stuff and make it look easy.
Great combination. A switch leap to a back tuck.
I don't know, John, do you think this looks a little bit like a young Nastia Lukin?
You know, I don't want to put pressure on this young lady, but that's saying something, and I think I see some shades of Nastia there.
The pink leotard might help.
It's a great set so far. Nice dismount, a little short on the landing, but she's through beam.
And now she can take a deep breath, because once you can get through the balance beam, as we talked about, you can kind of relax just a little bit for the floor exercise and have fun.
So scores for Kai Rivers, a 9.525, and Andrea Lee, guys, only a 9.575.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, me neither. I don't get that.
Bit.
Tim and Nastia are irate. We need security in the booth.
Yeah, that's shocking, to be perfectly honest. I mean, she's doing a much higher level of difficulty.
If it was the Daytona 500, we'd be 100 laps in. But your lead driver, it's Kai Rivers. To the Nastia Lukin Cup from Newark, New Jersey, presented by the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA. Hello, everyone, and once again, John Roethlisberger, Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin. We are through two rotations, and it has been a great competition. And it is incredibly tight up at the top. Kai Rivers has a slim lead over Natalie Wojcik and Abby Heiskell, just .025. Having a little fun with the camera. Rachel Lucas, the defending senior champ, is back, .125. But and then we see Gabrielle Wilson, but also Andrea Lee, that score that you guys were so upset about. She is .15 back of the leaders as well. So arguably, if Nastia and Tim were judging, she may have the lead. But keep in mind now, Kai Rivers, Rachel Lucas, and Andrea Lee all are on the same rotation. So they're going to be finishing on balance beam and floor. It might come down to which one of those three gymnasts can get through the balance beam the cleanest. Now, this competition, obviously, it focuses on a lot of girls who will eventually be stars in the collegiate ranks. And women's collegiate gymnastics in the United States has really become a premier sport in collegiate athletics. And I tell you what, it might not be the track to the Olympics, Tim and Nastia, but it might be the track after the Olympics. It's no joke some of these athletes competing collegiately now.
Well, Maggie Nichols, what a phenomenal athlete, and she has been so dominant this year for the University of Oklahoma. She, of course, was on the 2015 World Championship team that decimated the entire world.
And Michaela Skinner, of course, competed at the Nastia Lukin Cup that same year as Maggie. They competed together. And the same as Maggie, she has done absolutely incredible at the University of Utah.
But the two Olympians that are now competing, both freshmen at UCLA, one a 2012 Olympian, Kyla Ross, and then Maddie Koshin, who's also a world champion on bars. Both of those athletes have perfect 10s this season.
It's going to be fun to watch the NCAA championships this year, and we're looking at some young ladies who will be there very soon. Maggie Nichols, by the way, the #1 ranked all-arounder in the country. Michaela Skinner, also highly ranked and undefeated this year for the University of Utah, so they will be battling it out later this spring at the NCAA championships. We see Abbey High School getting ready for her second half of the competition. She sits tied in that second spot. She will be going on the uneven bars next. She finishes on a tough 2 uneven bars and balance beam, so she's got her work cut out for her. But we're going to go over to the vault next. We're going to watch Gabrielle Wilson start us off on this event. She was 5th after the second rotation. Now, this is a good spot for her. We talked about vault being a high-scoring event. Here she is sitting in a good spot in the rankings, and now a chance to maybe move up and put some pressure on the leaders.
And there are a number of different divisions that the athletes compete in when they go to the Junior Olympic Nationals. But in her division last year, she is the top all-around gymnast and the top vaulter and balance beam. So she has a pretty seasoned resume already. Gotta say this. I love this right here. She's going to go to the University of Michigan, and she's thinking about going into business and possibly creating the largest food court in the world. She said it.
Wow, that was one of the largest Yurchenko double fulls in the world. Whoa.
You know, right from the horse, though, she didn't quite get that extension that we've seen from some of the other athletes, but that did not bother her one bit. She just launched herself into the air, and we'll see right here. So she does a round off onto the board. And right here, just a little bit of bent arms, but she just flies so high, has so much power. Pretty big step on the landing, but that was a great vault.
I want to see her channel her inner gymnastics 101 right here, because this would be ginormous. I just stole another adjective from Tim Daggett.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Her mom and dad were both All-Americans in track and field in college. She's a tremendous athlete. She was 4th all-around in the junior division here last year and has the ability. We've seen a couple of big double fulls today, and this is a big one as well. Has the ability to fly as high as just about anyone. Really got to key in on that landing there. Giant, big number right there, 9.775. No, she's got a good one. Just got to get this landing. Oh,
she wanted it.
Oh,
she wanted it.
She tried so hard that actually looked like it actually hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
my ankles were hurting for her.
That was aggressive. I'll tell you what. She was going for that perfect stick, and just that's what happens.
I love it. It's
yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's what's great about being able to do 2 vaults, because on that second vault, as you said, Tim, if you already know you have a good one, you go for that stick.
It's like a free pass.
Nastia, you're not the only Anastasia in the building. Anastasia Webb out of IGI, Illinois Gymnastics Institute. Our first chance to see her. She's having a nice meet of her own, currently tied in that 5th spot as well.
She'll actually be joining Maggie Nichols at the University of Oklahoma soon.
Very nice.
I talked to the coaches at Oklahoma prior to this competition and asked them about Anastasia, and they said not only is her gymnastics going to fit in, but she has the personality and the character to fit right into that Oklahoma Sooner family.
And I'll tell you what a program they have going on out there. The top-rated college team for the women, but in addition to that, they are also by far the top-rated men's team in the country. Dismount. Oh, very nice stick. A 1.5.
She's ready for college.
I had a chance to actually go to the Chicago-style meet where she qualified for the Nastia Cup finals, and I was the guy who got to hand her award. So that was pretty cool to see her there and see her doing a good job here as well. Now the Smiley Award winner from 2016, Natalie Wojcik on vault.
Nice vault. Very difficult. 1.5 twist. Not quite as challenging as what we just saw, the double full, but this was very nicely done. doesn't get quite the rise off the table. And you see that's just drifting a little bit to the side. She stays pretty much within the lines
and
there.
We saw from that angle she had a leg separation right off of the table, but from this angle, which is where the judges are looking, you can't quite see that, so
they won't take that.
Exactly.
Yes.
If they don't see it, they're not going to take it.
Nastia, I saw you stick this in the Olympics. Is there something you do as a gymnast to help you stick the landing? Because sometimes it looks easy, but obviously it's not always that simple.
Well, you know, it's really about the technique, and I think that's what really always helped me, and that's what's going to help these athletes is, you know, they have to get that repulsion in the air, keep their hips open, and at the very, very end, I tried to look over my shoulder and spot the ground right here.
Oh, better ball.
And that was much better.
Really clean. Gonna get a good score, absolutely. She already got a 9.6, so she should improve on that with that ball.
So she's going to continue to smile, is Natalie Wojcik. We are in the middle of the competition. We have a lot of gymnastics yet to come. We'll update you on the scores on the other side of the break. This is the 2017 Nastia Cup Finals. Welcome back. Natalie Wojcik puts up a 9.7 on the vault, and for the moment, obviously with the number of gymnasts yet to go in this rotation, she will move into the lead. She was second place, tied for second place coming into this rotation. So nicely done for her. She will finish on the uneven bars. Now quickly back over to the balance beam. Riley Mundell, the 16-year-old from Parker, Colorado. We saw her earlier go on the uneven bar. She put up a 9.5. Before that, a 9.45 on the vault. She sits in 10th place.
You know, we ask all these young ladies how they got involved in the sport of gymnastics, and she said that she was always in motion or upside down, and the parents didn't think that was safe. Oh boy, that was great.
Now on floor exercise for challenge, Sophia Grove.
Very confident so far. Even managed a little smile after that leaps connection. Just a tad off, just a little bit of a wobble there, but recovered well. And really, so far, that's been the only mistake that I've seen. Just the dismount right here.
4.5, but a big step on that landing. Besides that, though, pretty solid.
So Riley Mundell does herself a little favor on balance beam. We talked about balance beam being the rotation here. We have a lot of our contenders on this event right now. Kai Rivers, our leader, obviously, but not to shortchange Anastasia Webb. She is tied in 5th place with 2 other girls, Gabrielle Wilson and Andrea Lee. So this is the event to keep an eye on, certainly, in this rotation.
Pretty flawless up until right at the very end. It was a nice dismount, 4.5 twist, but the big step forward. Still should get a very good number.
But again, this, you know, is a little bit of an easier dismount, so you want to try to avoid any major deductions as possible, always, of course, but just like on the vault, like we've seen the Yurchenko 1.5, this 1.5 twist as well, blind landing, so a little bit harder to stick sometimes.
So 9.525 now. May not be the biggest score on this event, but the leaders have got to go up behind her. That's going to put some pressure on all of them, including this young lady right here, Rachel Lucas.
Up next on ball for Great American, Lindsey Brown.
Well, she's a competitor, though, I'll tell you what.
Really showing no major signs of nerves here.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's balance beam, as you know, Nastia, it's the confidence that is needed. If you if you waver, it can be catastrophic. But you can just tell that she believes in herself and doesn't second guess and doesn't doubt. Big double back, small hop on the landing. Really solid routine from Rachel.
Unfazed. I mean, look at her face. It is just like business
She's in the
as
zone, you
usual.
guys.
She is in the zone. And you talk about putting the pressure on the other competitors. Riley Mundell did it with that 9.525, but I'll tell you what, Rachel Lucas sitting in that number 4 spot right now just put the pressure on the rest of the young ladies, including this young lady, your current leader, Kai Rivers. We are going to see her and see if she can stand up to the pressure when we come back. Next Saturday, Olympic gold medalist Michaela Schifrin looks to extend her lead for the overall World Cup title in Squaw Valley at the FIS Alpine Skiing World Cup. Next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. And it might be a little chilly outside, but man, it is heating up. Rachel Lucas puts up the highest beam score of the competition. She puts up a 9.6, and that is just going to put the pressure on the rest of the competitors in this rotation, including our current leader, Kai Rivers. She needs better than a 9.675 to hold on to that first place spot. Nastia, that score is not going to be easy.
Well, it's definitely not, especially when you know you're in the lead and you're on the balance beam.
Yeah, this is going to be close, I'll tell you what. If she comes away with a hit set here, and then going into the final event, floor exercise, it's going to be really awesome.
Nastia, in the Olympics, and again, not to harken back all the time to 2008, but you did the same rotation. You finished on beam, then floor. And here's a big competition for this young lady, maybe the biggest of her life up to this point. What do you go through your head? How do you get yourself focused to do an event that is so hard and can be so unforgiving at a high-pressure moment?
Well, I think you have to take it one skill at a time. So as she's standing right here, she's only thinking about this mount right here. She's not thinking about the dismount, and she's not thinking about her floor routine coming out. One skill at a time. And I know it sounds so cliche, but believing in yourself and having positive thoughts.
First test right here. Nice. Great fight there. She was a little bit off, and she disguised it well. You know, talking about one skill at a time. A lot of people think staying exactly in the moment, not letting yourself get ahead and not thinking about anything that has already happened, and she is doing that. Oh, boy.
Wow. All right, guys, put your judging hats on right now. I want to know what you guys give that before the judges come up with their score. Is it good enough to hold on to the lead?
Go ahead, Nastia.
I mean, with the way they've been judging today, I don't know. But
Yes.
in my opinion, I mean, she did not show a single sign of nerves where she should have shown nerves here on this event. That series back handspring layout, just absolutely beautiful. And not only did she not have any bobbles, but her execution was beautiful. Her toes are pointed, knees are straight.
It's going to get a big score. It's going to be hard to surpass the 9.6 that we just saw. But this right here, a huge exclamation mark. Look at double full, little straddle of the legs, but bam, rocks that landing. This is going to be tight.
And there it is, a 9.55. I sensed it from you guys. You didn't want to give it to her, and neither did the judges, but it is going to put her close. It is going to be a battle between Kai Rivers and Rachel Lucas, among others, in that last rotation. Man, is that going to be fun.
I'm down with that. I'm down with it.
She's got to be happy. Now we're going to go over to the floor. Carly Baumann. Now, this is an interesting story. We talked about bars and beam being the toughest events to score on. Well, Carly Baumann started on bars and beam, and her score of a 19.275 so far in this competition, and she's in the junior competition. She would be tied for first place in the senior competition. This kid might just be the real deal, guys.
Without question. Well, she's training in a place that knows how to get it done. Chow's Gymnastics has great lines.
Well, I think that's just going to be just fine to keep her in the lead for sure. I mean, every single tumbling pass, not as difficult as we've seen from some of the other gymnasts, but the way she performed them, beautiful form in the air, and those landings were completely under control. It was great.
Really good as a junior, but I think she really needs to be a little more expressive and get into the music a little bit more, be a bit more of a performer.
And as good as Carly Bauman has been doing, she's in a battle of her own for the junior title, just ahead of Kobe Flory. But in the senior competition, no more talk about Rivers and Lucas. Natalie Wojcik is your leader. Abbey High School standing at the chalk tray where all final prayers are said before doing a routine.
Carbonate of psych.
Carbonate of psych. Very nicely said.
That's a new one.
We saw a lot of the contenders on balance beam now. Like to see Abbey High School tied for second place right now, but coming into the tough two events, bars and beam. But I saw this girl in training on this event, and she is outstanding. Could put up a big number.
Nice release to start. Great handstands and great positions. Gorgeous pack salto transition. Boy, she's clean.
And hitting every single handstand.
Double front.
That was good.
That was really clean. Really clean. Had a bit of a grip change problem on one of her elements. I don't know if that was planned or not.
I think sometimes that happens when you're learning that skill. You might be a little bit afraid, and then it becomes a habit. It's kind of hard to get rid of, but great routine. Just such beautiful form on everything in those handstands.
And look at this right here. She just floats in the air. One of my favorite moves in all of gymnastics, called a pack salto, and that was world class right there.
Yeah, it looks fun until maybe you miss your hand.
Yes, yeah.
I've done it, trust me. It's not fun. And here's that dismount. So she does a double front. She tries to spot the landing. This dismount doesn't look as hard, but it's very difficult to stick that landing because you can't quite spot the ground. Just that step on the dismount, but what a great routine.
Abbey High School is tied with Natalie Wojcik coming into this rotation, and Natalie got a 9.7. So obviously she's going to need a 9.7, but does not get it. Bars just not the event you're going to get that big number.
You know, we might need to go talk to those judges over there.
Yep.
That's still an outstanding score, but it's hard to figure out where they're getting those reductions.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the differentiation between the athletes because that was just, that was uber clean and maybe not rewarded as well as Nastia, myself, and you, John, thought.
There's Natalie Wojcik, your leader. The smile just does not leave the face. You got to love it, man. Have a good time if you're going to be here on a big stage, right? She's going to finish on the uneven bars. Again, a tough spot to be, but I stood over by that podium yesterday during practice, and I watched a lot of bar workers, and she was one of them. And again, she can do some great bars, but man, if the other girls are going to vault and putting up 9.8s, it's going to be tough for her to keep pace.
And there you see the eyes of Valerie Lukin and Rhonda Fang. Valerie is the replacement of the longtime coordinator, Marta Caroli. Rhonda Fang actually was the head coach at the University of Florida and is now oversees the entire women's senior program.
And just your trivia fact of the day, Rhonda and I went to club gymnastics together, and actually at the same time because we're very close in age.
Well, she looks a lot younger than you, John.
Everybody does, Tim. Abigail Brenner on balance beam. Abby sitting in the 9th position after 2 rotations.
No, it seemed from the angle that we're at, it wasn't even really that off, but again, just when you're on the balance beam and you're doing well in the competition, sometimes those nerves just get to you.
That was great, though. Punch front, done with a little combination, small leap afterwards. Nice double full, pretty good landing.
And really, overall, it was a really good routine, except for that wobble at the beginning of the routine, and especially at the beginning. Sometimes I always felt like you have to kind of get up and get going, get that one skill underway, and then you kind of become a little bit more confident. And here's that skill. So it was the combination, the back handspring to a back layout. Just a little bit off, but, you know, she did a great job. Some people would have just fallen right off, but she went for that save.
Nice front flip, done in combination with that small leap. As I said, she got herself back on track and finished well with the dismount, a double full. Legs could be a little more pasted together. You see them crossed like that. That's a 1/10 of a point, but a stuck landing.
A nice 9.575 for Abigail Brenner. She is going to be finishing on the floor exercise in the next rotation. We talked about how she is in 9th position right now. But that's your leader, Natalie Wojcik. It is a tight competition, but it is her race to lose with one event to go. She will be on the uneven bars in rotation number 4.
Home of Team USA spotlights bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor on her road to the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. After winning bronze at the 2010 Vancouver Games as a push athlete, Myers-Taylor moved into the driver's seat and quickly proved that she could contend with the best.
Now they got some time back. 900ths of a second in at her speed.
She piloted her way to silver in Sochi with Olympic track and field champion Lauren Williams as her brakeman. Then followed it up with a world title in 2015, the first ever for an American in women's bobsled. And last month, she was crowned world champion once again, solidifying her status as the one to beat next year at the Winter Olympics.
A start record and a second World Championship victory for Alana Myers-Taylor.
The multi-talented Myers-Taylor is a former collegiate softball player who has also competed in rugby sevens for the United States. Now the Georgia native plays an instrumental role in steering other athletes to bobsled, including Olympic hurdler Lolo Jones, who made her Winter Olympic debut in 2014. The season wraps up in Pyeongchang, South Korea with the IBSF Bobsled Skeleton World Cup Finals, which you can stream live on NBCSports.com and the NBC Sports app.
Welcome back to the Nastia Cup. After 3 rotations, we have got a battle. Natalie Wojcik holds a slim lead, half-10 of a point over Lindsey Brown and Gabrielle Wilson. Natalie Wojcik will be waiting until the end of this rotation, last routine, and she will have to fend off this young lady Lindsey Brown, who is just a half tenth behind. Now, we haven't seen her yet tonight, but she started slow, but has since then put up huge numbers on floor and vault, and that's why she's in the situation she is in, guys. This is going to be a close one coming down the stretch, and there's a number of girls who could win this.
Well, it really is close, and that's exactly how it was last year. It came down to the very last event, the very last competitor, Rachel, of course, and she was able to clinch the title. And, you know, it's so close, and because I think, you know, it's the 10.0 scoring system, so everybody is... This is the best of the best. All of these gymnasts out here are the absolute best in the country in the junior Olympic level, and so they're all just, they're neck and neck.
Tim, Natalie Wojcik's got to stand there through this entire rotation
and
watching
wait.
all this gymnasts go, knowing what's on the line for her. This is a big title. How does she handle that?
Well, you know, it's one of the worst things in all of sport, in any sport, is the waiting. And you feel helpless because there is nothing that you can do, but she can turn that around if she's if she's a scoreboard watcher and she likes to know what she needs to do. She'll know exactly what that is.
I hated that. Did you watch the scoreboard, both
I
of
never
you?
did.
I did a little bit, yes, I did.
I did not like that. I knew that I always needed to do my best anyways,
Yes.
so it doesn't matter what score.
Let's not forget about Gabrielle Wilson. She is tied for second. Now, the top three competitors are all going to finish on bars. But Tim and I were handicapping the result sheet here, and there's some competitors going on floor that are in the mix. A higher scoring event. Kai Rivers, Andrea Lee, Rachel Lucas among them.
Absolutely. To give you a little bit of perspective, Lindsey Brown, in her qualifying event for this Lucan Cup, she scored a 9.475. So it's a tight scoring event as it is, and in the qualifying, that's what she came home with.
This is Sophia Groth. We saw her start her day on bars, had a little trouble, only a 9.05, but has battled back and is sitting in the 6th spot in the junior competition.
Very nice, clean.
A little bit of a pike down at the very end, just didn't quite get that rotation that she needed. But as Tim said, just beautiful form in the air.
Her idol is Nadia Comaneci. I don't know how she even... Well, I mean, Nadia is a big star, but she was 1976, of course, the darling of Montreal. Beautiful full twisting laid out Yurchenko, but as Nastia said, let's watch her hip angle. Does it close? And right, especially there, you see the chest down a little bit.
Not a bad score, 9.425, but she definitely wants to try to improve that on this vault right here.
Looked like she almost mixed her steps up a little bit. It's going to be about the same number, I would say.
So is it just her?
So nice finish for Sophia Groth. Natalie Wojcik, the leader. We're going to see her yet to come, but the waiting game, a lot of gymnastics between her and the final. Back at the 2017 Nastia Lucan Cup, Newark, New Jersey, we're looking at Rachel Lucas. Now, this is very interesting. She sits in 7th place, you guys, but she is not out of this. She is going to a strong event, a high-scoring event she is the Junior Olympic champion on. She can make a big jump here.
Little bit of perspective. The highest score so far today on floor, 9.75. The highest score today on bars, 9.575. She's only 0.2 away from the leader. It's going to be tight. Big double layout. Well, it was a big routine. She scored a 9.7 at her qualifying meet.
A little bit of a smile from the stoic Rachel
really
Lucas.
Interesting, and of course, like we always say in gymnastics, she did her job, and now it's up to the judges. So we'll have to see what they give her.
What a great job from that young lady. Again, out with back spasms for a couple weeks. Only really had a week to prepare for this competition. The coach said, going to rely on her experience. She is trying to become the first repeat champion. 9.775.
Best number. Best number today on floor exercise, putting huge pressure.
This is going to be fun. Carly Bauman trying to clinch the junior all-around title.
Such a clean gymnast. Wow. Just great legs, great toes.
And she is most likely going to clinch it. She has a half-point lead over the second-place gymnast, Rose Casale from Southeastern Gymnastics. So better than a 9.5, and this title is hers.
It's always great ending on vault.
Yeah.
You know,
especially when you can do two, right?
Especially when you can do two, and also when you have half a point lead.
Yeah, she's got a half a point lead, and this is pretty much in the books right now. Can improve on this vault without a doubt with that landing.
Vault number 2.
I can't imagine that she doesn't come away with this title. I mean, it's she, like we said, she has a half a point lead. She's your junior champion here at the 2017 Nastia Cup.
She can hardly contain her enthusiasm right there.
Gotta wait for the official results, John.
A lot of gymnastics left for that young lady. And there is your current leader. Rachel Lucas does take the lead with that huge 9.775. And now the pressure goes to Lindsey Brown on the uneven bar. She needs better than a 9.625, Nastia. We haven't seen that score on bars yet tonight.
You know, it's going to be tough. The judges on bars have just seemed to be a little bit more strict, and so she really has to be as perfect as possible. That handstand right there already a little bit short. A little bit of a leg separation in there as well.
Yeah, I would say that right there, she will, and definitely she will not pass Rachel Lucas. She's going to have a tough time getting up onto the podium after this routine.
I love the fight, though. She did not want to come off that equipment.
No, absolutely. Double back stick, and I'm sure she had a great experience here at the competition, but that is really going to take her out of contention.
Her name was on the big board after 3, and that's got to be exciting.
And, you know, right from the start, she was a little off, but right there is where she really pretty much gave up any chance to end up on the podium, but then it goes to there, and it just, she really tried to fight, but that was basically a fall.
So happy and proud for her, though, that she's able to get her composure back and finish the Nastia Cup on a high note. She struggled in this routine almost from start to finish, but this was gorgeous. Double back somersault, great landing.
As you said, Tim, it's always great to end on a high note with that stick dismount.
All right, everybody's a contender, it seems like, in this last rotation. We saw Lindsey Brown let it slip away, but Kai Rivers has got a shot. Sitting in 4th place, just a little over a 10th back of the leaders, and to overcome Rachel Lucas, she's better than 9.7.
And she will not go quietly into the night, I'll tell you. That was an excellent routine, great tumbling. Coach John Geddard couldn't be more proud of this young lady.
I tell you what I love is so many of these girls, they just seem unflappable. They just got these, hey, you know what? I do this every day. They walk off the podium, you know, just another day at work. Amazing.
Big first tumbling pass, a double laid out somersault. Same thing we saw from Rachel out of the blocks. Watch, she'll flip 2 times around, keep her body completely straight. Gorgeous.
And that final pass, so beautiful opening pass, but you have to end on a high note, of course. So she does a double pike somersault, and you see just a small hop.
Head coach at LSU, Dee Dee Bro, has got to be smiling in her living room because she is going to be a Tiger, and she is going to be a nice asset to that team. Again, better than a 9.7, gets in the lead, and she gets it a humongous 9.825. We will not have a repeat winner in the senior division. Now, the only person on the floor that can repeat their title is Andrea Lee. She was the junior all-around champion last year, trying to pull it off this year. She is 0.15, was 0.15 behind Natalie Wojcik coming into this rotation. Now, to give you perspective here, Rachel Lucas put up the highest score of the night on floor exercise, but then Kai Rivers comes up and puts up a new highest score of the night with a 9.825. Well, Andrea Lee needs to add another one to that because she needs better than a 9.85 to win this, or to take the lead, rather. What do you think, guys?
Well, it was very good. You know, it's a different style routine. She's not as powerful as some of the athletes we've just seen. Opened up the door a little bit on that first tumbling run on the landing, and then at the end it was a little bit sloppy. It's a big, big number to get, and I don't think she's going to get there.
We'll see if Andrea Lee can pull out that 9.85, but still to come, your leader, Natalie Wojcik, and also sitting in second place, Gabrielle Wilson. Natalie Wojcik came into this fourth rotation with the lead, and she's had to sit and wait. She will be the last competitor of this rotation. She'll know exactly what she needs to do. The leader right now, though, Kai Rivers, she put up the biggest number on floor exercise of the entire competition. She had to do just that to overtake the defending champion, Rachel Lucas. There will be no senior division repeat winner yet again. Now over to the balance beam. This young lady has had a nice night. However, if she wants to overtake Kai Rivers, she's going to have to put up an epic number of better than a 9.875, also a number we have not seen yet this evening on the balance beam. Interesting story about Abby. I was talking to her coach before the competition, and 4 years ago she came into the gym with some back pain. Her coach said, "Don't work out today." Well, lo and behold, she ends up at the hospital 5 hours later, has a bone infection, is fighting for her life. She misses gymnastics for 4 months, but comes back. Not only does she come back, she comes back and competes that season. And here she is. What a outstanding young lady, and what a scary situation to be involved in.
And an outstanding routine thus far. This is really great stuff.
On that balance beam, we keep saying this, but this is the most challenging mentally to end on this event.
Really solid routine, just the hop on the landing, but she needs a giant number that has not been given out so far.
She had to be perfect. Nice finish for her. Should be very happy with her competition. By the way, Andrea Lee on floor exercise puts up a 9.625. That'll put her in 3rd place in the all-around. She's going to try desperately to stay on that podium with some big routines yet to come. Now, Abigail Brenner, a nice competition of her own. She comes into this rotation tied for the 8th spot. It is impossible for her to catch Kai Rivers.
Actually, the reigning floor exercise junior Olympic national champion.
Abby Heiskell, by the way, a 9.6, puts her in 4th. She will finish on the podium.
Super difficult tumbling start to finish for this routine. Great job and a great end to the Nastia Cup for her.
And a good event for her to end on. She is the 2016 Junior Olympic champion in this event. So Kai Rivers, your current leader, trying to hold on desperately to that gold medal. But when we come back, Natalie Wojcik gets a chance to snatch it away from her. Cup, and it's the 8th rendition, and we will not have a repeat champion yet again this year. It's never happened, and it might be this young lady, though, that gets her first Nastia Cup title. That's Kai Rivers, and she is relaxed, and she is happy, and she should be, because she's going to make it tough for the person that is trying to knock her off, and that person is Natalie Wojcik. She's going to be the last competitor on the uneven bars. She looks calm and cool and collected, but, you know, the whole night we've seen a big smile on this girl's face, Tim. You think the nerves might be getting to her a little bit?
A little bit. Once again, some perspective. Her best score on uneven bars in her career, from what we can see, 9.575. Release. Nicely done.
Beautiful lines. Leg separation there and a little short on that handstand.
Remember, the judges have been brutal on bars tonight. Double layout. Wow. She held on to that, kind of came off the bars a little bit early, but somehow finds the floor and doesn't move.
And she needs better than a 9.7, guys, a score that has not even been heard of in this competition, not even a 9.6 so far on bars.
She had that one kind of glaring error midway through the routine. Legs came apart significantly, but then she just rocked the landing. Remember, it's the last thing the judges see if they're doubting themselves and going back and deciding, is it a tenth or was it a half a tenth, or, you know, that might have an impact.
Man, I tell you what, we've seen some what looked like almost perfect bar routines score in the 9.5s, and you guys said there was an obvious mistake in there, but again, does that stuck landing, does that last impression, can it make the difference in the eyes of the judges?
Well, it can, but I don't really think it's going to happen tonight. You know, what a great competition she had. She went out, she gave it her all. She was phenomenal, really, from start to finish.
And especially that last dismount, she just stuck it cold.
And there it is, 9.45, so it will not be enough for Natalie Wojcik. She waited a long time for that opportunity, couldn't quite pull it off. Great competition for her, but a better competition for this young lady. Kai Rivers comes in and wins her first ever Nastia Lukin Cup all-around championship. What a feeling for her.
And she is looking up at the scoreboard right now, and her name is atop the standings, so she does know it.
Rachel Lucas put up a great fight, the defending champ, .125 behind Kai Rivers. And Natalie Wojcik, it looks like she will end up in the 4th spot, just off the podium. Andrea Lee holds on to that 3rd spot. Andrea Lee next to her. Smiles on everybody's faces. At the end of the day, this is a fun competition, and if you don't just appreciate the experience, regardless of where you finish, you're missing out on maybe the most important part.
So she just had some deductions in the routine. There was something a little bit glaring. This was nice, though. Release skill. She does it in a piked position, which is more difficult. Then she has to transition to the low bar, and look at the legs right there. They come apart.
And short on that handstand, which is also a deduction.
Great toe point, though.
Absolutely.
And just so beautiful to watch on all of the events, really.
So Kai Rivers finally finds out she won. I guess we knew a little bit before she did, but the news has broke, and Kai Rivers is your 2017 Nastia Lukin Cup all-around champion. Congratulations, young lady. And here are your top 5.
Thank you.
Rivers, Lucas, Lee round out the top 3. Natalie Wojcik just out of the medals, and Abbey High School finishes out the top 5. .275. Wow, top to bottom, really a tight competition. Really how you would expect it to be with this level of competition from across the country. And what a fun meet.
You know, when I talked to them earlier today at the brunch that we had, that's kind of what I told them was, you know, just go out there and enjoy yourself. You did everything possible to qualify to this competition and have fun. You know, I think sometimes we get caught up in the moment of competing and you forget to have fun. So it really looked like, hopefully, they took my advice.
Absolutely, I think they did. They looked like they were having a great time, but none more than this young lady, Kai Rivers.
Look at the power, and bam! What a day, Kai Rivers.
Coach John Geddert loved it, and why wouldn't he? She's been killing it all year, in his words. When we come back, Nastia Lukin will be with our winner. The Nastia Lukin Cup is brought to you by AT&T and by Head & Shoulders for unbelievably beautiful flake-free hair. Man, we're still catching our breath up here in the booth. It was a great finish to a great competition. Kai Rivers holds on to that top spot. She holds off the defending champ, Rachel Lucas. And our own Nastia Lukin is with both of those competitors. Nastia?
Well, first of all, please tell everybody what you just told me before we got on camera. I said, how was it?
It was good, but it was the hardest meet of my life because there are so many good competitors here. Everybody was amazing. So
did that make you more nervous?
It made me nervous, but it made me motivated, and I'm just really glad I did my best.
And going into that last event, you actually needed a 9.7 to clinch the title. Did you know what you needed to get?
No, I haven't been watching the scores at all. My coach, John, he's been watching it, not me.
Well, congratulations on the win. And Rachel, obviously, you came in as the defending title holder, and you had such a great competition. It just came short of that win. But what was it like for you to be able to be back out here competing once again at the Nastia Lukin Cup?
Being back here is just like a dream come true, and just being with so many great competitors and having all the fans, like my gym, my teammates here, it's just a great experience.
And you're going off to the University of Georgia very soon, so tell us a little bit about that and how excited you are to kind of start that new chapter of your life.
I am so excited. I'm counting down the days. I can't wait to be there with such a great team, great coaches, and great atmosphere.
Well, congratulations. Second place isn't too shabby. Congratulations and good luck at the Georgia. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Nastia. The junior competition was a good one too. Carly Bauman, though, man, she is the real deal, and she comes away with the title. Nastia Lukin, had a chance to catch up with her as well.
First of all, congratulations. You were kind of leading the pack the entire time in the junior field, and going into your last competition routine vault, you had half of a point lead. Did you know that going into that?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to do the best vault I could and hopefully just come out on top.
So what was it like for you being out here on this big stage under the bright lights, being able to compete here and come away with a win?
It was really fun and really different. It's my second time competing on podium, so that was really fun.
So a lot of great experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
So outstanding job from all our competitors. What a great competition. It lives up to the billing. The 2017 Nastia Lukin Cup. Congratulations to Kai Rivers. Congratulations to Carly Bauman on their all-around championships. Tomorrow morning on NBC Sports Network, a Premier League doubleheader kicks off at 7:30 Eastern Time with Tottenham Everton, followed by Sunderland and Manchester City. At 5:30, it's an Olympic Channel presentation here on NBC Sports Network with the USA Track and Field Indoor Championships. For Nastia Lukin and Tim Daggett, I'm John Roethlisberger. So long from Newark and the 2017 Nastia Lukin Cup.
Just brilliant. Most dominant in Olympic history.
This has been a presentation of the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA.